Socrates, one of the most influential philosophers in history, developed a method of inquiry that remains foundational to Western philosophy. His dialectical approach, often characterized by rigorous questioning and dialogue, sought to uncover deeper truths and foster intellectual humility. This analysis explores various principles derived from Socratic thought, examining how virtues and vices interact in a complex web of relationships. Each of the 22 principles presented offers insights into how Socratic philosophy addresses the pursuit of knowledge, ethical behavior, and the development of a virtuous character. Dialectical method. Socrates believed in the power of dialogue to uncover truth. He famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." In a dialectical method, the thesis is questioned by the antithesis, leading to a synthesis. This synthesis becomes a new thesis that undergoes further scrutiny, maintaining a cyclical relationship. Socrates' statement, "Wonder is the beginning of wisdom," highlights that questioning and understanding coexist in the pursuit of knowledge. Intellectual humility. Socrates was known for his claim, "I know that I know nothing," underscoring the importance of recognizing one's own ignorance as a precursor to questioning. This humility leads to learning, and through learning, one realizes their prior ignorance, completing the cycle. He believed that acknowledging ignorance is the starting point for acquiring true wisdom. Socratic paradox. Socrates posited that virtue is intertwined with knowledge, stating, "There is only one good knowledge and one evil ignorance." Virtue leads to knowledge, which then guides good actions. These good actions, in turn, reinforce virtue. He believed that knowledge is the only good, meaning that virtuous actions are naturally aligned with informed, knowledgeable decisions. Elenchus, or refutation. Through his method of elenchus, Socrates demonstrated that without questioning, no true knowledge can be achieved. He would refute false beliefs to stimulate further questioning. To find yourself, think for yourself, he advised, emphasizing that self-examination and questioning are vital to refuting ignorance and achieving understanding. Ethical intellectualism. Ethical intellectualism was another key aspect of Socratic thought. Socrates argued that knowledge leads to right actions, which in turn result in happiness. The only good is knowledge, and the only evil is ignorance, he asserted, indicating that without knowledge one cannot act rightly, and thus cannot be truly happy. The absence of knowledge leads to ignorance and misery, highlighting the causal chain. Socratic irony. Socratic irony often involved pretending ignorance to expose the lack of understanding in others. He said, "I am wise because I know that I know nothing." This admission prompted dialogue, leading participants back to the realization of their ignorance, thus sparking true inquiry and understanding. Reflection results in awareness of ignorance. Socratic ignorance. Acknowledging one's ignorance leads to a desire for knowledge. Socrates stated, "To know is to know that you know nothing. That is the meaning of true knowledge." This desire motivates questioning and learning. Conversely, lack of awareness of one's ignorance leads to stagnation, preventing the quest for wisdom. Retrospective wisdom. Socrates valued self-examination, asserting, "The unexamined life is not worth living. Without reflection, there is no self-improvement." Lack of dialogue prevents true reflection, while engaging in reflection promotes self-improvement and understanding. This retrospective view ensures continuous growth and wisdom. Interconnected virtues. For Socrates, virtues were interconnected. Courage enables the pursuit of wisdom, and wisdom fosters temperance. He said, "He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have," highlighting temperance. This temperance strengthens both courage and wisdom, forming a cohesive set of virtues. Exclusive vice. Socrates warned that the absence of wisdom leads to a lack of courage. Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil, he stated, indicating that without temperance, wisdom diminishes, leading to cowardice and folly. The absence of both courage and wisdom results in a lack of temperance, creating a vicious cycle of vice. Unity of virtues. Socrates saw piety as encompassing justice and courage. Piety, therefore, is a part of justice, he argued, indicating that piety entails both justice and courage. Justice fosters piety and courage supports piety. Thus, these virtues are conjoined, each reinforcing and supporting the other. Vice bottleneck. Injustice and cowardice lead to impiety. Socrates noted, "The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be," implying that injustice and cowardice undermine piety. Impiety fosters further injustice and cowardice, creating a bottleneck where vice perpetuates itself. Harmonious soul. Socrates believed that a harmonious soul arises from the combination of wisdom and courage. He stated, "Virtue does not come from wealth, but wealth and every other good thing which men have comes from virtue." This harmony leads to further wisdom and courage, creating a balanced and virtuous life. Dissonant soul. Socrates cautioned against a dissonant soul, which leads to folly and cowardice. He said, "The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be," suggesting that disharmony results in vice. Cowardice and folly foster further disharmony, trapping one in a cycle of moral disintegration. Unified virtue. Socrates believed in the unity of virtues. Justice leads to wisdom and courage. "He who is not a good servant will not be a good master," he said, indicating that wisdom promotes justice and courage. Courage supports both wisdom and justice, resulting in a cohesive and virtuous character. Fragmented vice. Socrates warned that folly and cowardice result in injustice. He asserted, "There is only one good knowledge and one evil ignorance," suggesting that the absence of justice and courage leads to vice. Injustice and folly foster cowardice, perpetuating a cycle of moral fragmentation. Ethical contradictions. Socrates often highlighted ethical contradictions. Justice and the absence of folly relate to moderation. He stated, "False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil," implying that wisdom and the absence of immoderation relate to justice. Moderation and the absence of injustice foster wisdom. Ethical division. Socrates warned that injustice combined with wisdom leads to immoderation. He said, "The only good is knowledge and the only evil is ignorance," indicating that folly and moderation lead to injustice. Immoderation and justice result in folly, highlighting the fragmented nature of vice. Moral associations. Socrates emphasized the interconnectedness of virtues. Wisdom and the absence of injustice lead to moderation. He stated, "An unexamined life is not worth living," suggesting that wisdom and the absence of immoderation lead to justice. Justice and moderation together result in wisdom. Moral disassociations. Socrates cautioned that folly and justice lead to immoderation. He asserted, "The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be," implying that folly and moderation lead to injustice. Folly results in both injustice and immoderation, perpetuating vice. Integrated virtue. Socrates believed in the integration of virtues. Justice leading to wisdom implies the absence of immoderation. Virtue does not come from wealth, but wealth, and every other good thing which men have comes from virtue, he said, indicating that moderation leading to wisdom implies the absence of injustice. Together, justice and moderation result in wisdom. Disintegrated virtue. Socrates warned that folly leading to injustice implies the presence of moderation. He stated, "The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be," suggesting that folly leading to immoderation implies the presence of justice. Folly results in both injustice and immoderation, highlighting the disintegration of virtue. Conclusion. Socratic philosophy, with its emphasis on dialogue, questioning, and intellectual humility, provides a robust framework for understanding the interplay between knowledge, virtue, and ethical behavior. By dissecting the relationships between virtues and vices, Socrates highlighted the importance of self-examination and the pursuit of wisdom. His ideas on interconnected virtues, ethical contradictions, and the integration of moral qualities continue to resonate, offering valuable guidance for personal and philosophical growth. Through this analysis, we see how Socratic thought remains relevant, encouraging us to strive for a harmonious and virtuous life grounded in the relentless pursuit of truth and understanding.